Hey y'all, and welcome to my complete beginner banjo series. If you're here, have a banjo, and have no idea how to play it or where to begin, you're in the right spot. In this series, by the end, you should be able to play that banjo break you just heard just like that. You won't know everything there is to know about playing banjo, but you should be able to hear a song, know how to break it down, and play it how you want to. Hey y'all, first we need to figure out if you have the right gear for these lessons. You'll need a 5-string banjo. Of course, this is a 5-string banjo. It has the 4 strings that go to the headstock and also the 5th string tuner right here. So if you have a 5-string, you're in the right place. If your banjo has only 4 strings, then you have a tenor banjo. And these lessons will not be really a big help for you. Tenor banjos are used for like ragtime music, Irish stuff. Eddie Peabody made that banjo famous. And there's other lessons out there for that instrument. Also, if you have a banjo with 6 strings on it, these lessons will not help you either. That is considered a gitjo or a banjotar even. It's meant to be played like a guitar, and these lessons will not be a big help. But if you have a 5-string, you're on the right track. Next, let's learn what style of banjo playing you want to learn. In this series, I teach Scruggs style banjo picking, or 3-finger style playing. It was made popular by Earl Scruggs, and it sounds a little bit like this. If that's the style of playing you want to learn, then you're in the right place. But if not, there's another way of banjo picking that predates Scruggs style playing, and it's called claw hammer. You may have heard people like String Bean or Grandpa Jones play this type on Hee Haw or other shows. It sounds like this. Clawhammer is an awesome way to play banjo. Unfortunately, in this series, we're going to be playing Scruggs style. So if you want to learn how to play clawhammer, there's tons of other instructional videos out there for that style. If you're hanging in there with me still, we have figured out that you have a 5-string banjo and you want to play Scruggs style picking. Make sure whenever you get your banjo that you have a professional set it up if it came in a box. If you got it from the music store, hopefully it was already set up. A lot of the times they don't come already set up, and it's kind of hard to put together if you're new to it. Next, let's learn how to hold your banjo. All right, y'all, here's how it should look whenever you get sat down. Make sure you have a good chair to sit in, like a kitchen chair or a stool or a couch. Something without arms so it doesn't get in the way of your arms. Whenever you get sat down, put your banjo firmly between both legs. Take your right arm around, place your right hand down, and boom, you're in the spot you need to be in order to play. As far as the neck goes, I like to leave it at a slight angle to give your left hand the attack it needs on the fretboard. If you try to move it around, it also moves your right hand, as you see, into an uncomfortable position. You also have to stretch your left hand out to reach stuff. So it's better just to leave it right here where the right hand's comfortable and the left hand's comfortable, and you're almost ready to play. All right, y'all, let's talk about planting our fingers on the head. Unlike with other instruments, you have to put a finger or 2 fingers down to stabilize your right hand. This will also help you strike the strings more flush and correct. I'm a 2-finger planter, as you see, and I put it right here by the end of the bridge right here. You can see in the light that I have wore a hole in that spot where I plant my fingers. This gives you all the stability you need to be able to attack with your right hand on the strings and not have to worry about bouncing around. So with those fingers down, you can see that it's solid and only your 3 picking fingers are moving. You'll want to find out what's more comfortable for you. Of course, I'm a 2-finger planter. Some people only plant 1. There's famous banjo pickers out there that only plant 1 and they play fantastic. I prefer the 2 because that's how Earl Scruggs did it and that's how I wanted to learn. But please, don't let anybody tell you that you have to plant 2. Do what's comfortable for you and find out where you want to plant right here in order to get the sound you want. If you want to plant up here and get like a softer tone, that would be right in here. I prefer right here to where I get a louder tone. If you go too far back, you'll get really twangy. But I found planting somewhere near the end of your bridge, maybe a little bit forward, usually gives you the best placement for your right hand. But this is something you'll just have to mess around with. Look at pictures and videos of other pickers to see where they plant theirs and just mess around with it. Just find something that's stable and works for you. What about right arm and wrist placement? Well, after you've learned how to plant your fingers, your wrist should automatically give you some sort of arch whenever you put it down. So whenever you make your planting finger stance and come in, your arm should look kind of like this. Now you don't want to flatten out your arm because it'll make it very difficult to play. You will just brush against the strings. You won't actually be able to pull up on them. So it's important whenever you get planted that you give your wrist some arch so it gives your fingers tons of room to be able to play. A lot of people say that you should be able to fit a small ball under there. Everybody's hand's different, so I can't confirm that. And I wouldn't suggest putting a ball underneath your wrist just to check. But naturally, as you plant, your hands should kind of look like that, or with one finger, however. You come in, it naturally gives you a gap to where your picking fingers will pull up, something like this. Give it a try and find out what's comfortable for you. Again, everybody's different, and you want to make your banjo playing experience enjoyable. All right, y'all, now it's time to get you some banjo picks. No, it's not completely necessary for you to have picks at first, but if you ever want to get in a jam session, play with other people, and be able to be heard, it's important you get used to wearing picks so you know how to play with them. I like to use plastic thumb picks. I know that there's metal thumb picks out there, but they're very tingy sounding, and I don't suggest them. I like to use the Dunlop thumb picks, and you wear them like that right there. My metal picks are actually Dotson Oval 8s, but you can find all different brands of metal picks, and that's how you put them on right there. I see a lot of people try to put them on reverse, but this is the correct way to wear them. You might not bend the shaft up as far as I do, but that's what works for me, and I'll bend the shaft a little bit more as well. But there's Dunlop brands for the metal picks as well. If you use those, I suggest the 18 gauge or heavier. There's Hoffmeyer metal picks, Dotson metal picks. The old Nationals are great if you can find them, but just find something and bend them to your finger, and make sure they feel comfortable. Again, you don't want anything that's uncomfortable. This is a comfort zone whenever you're wanting to learn how to play the banjo. But get you some and put them on as such, like that, and get used to them. It'll be difficult at first because it's a foreign object going on your body, literally. But once you get used to them, you're in the short rows. All right, y'all, we're finally ready to tune the banjo. We've been waiting all video to get to this point where we can actually touch the strings. So here we are. The banjo is primarily played in open G, which sounds like this. There are other tunes and songs that require you to play in different keys, But for learning's sake, we're going to play an open G like this. In the future, I suggest you get an electronic tuner to help you tune your banjo faster and more accurate. You can get those at your local music store or online. They're a huge help. But for this video, we're just going to tune to my banjo, which is already in tune. So let's try it out. All right, y'all, I'm going to tell you what each string is as I play it. Try to tune your banjo to it to the best of your ability. Here we go. The bottom string here is a D, and it sounds like this. We also consider this the first string, so remember that, it's real important. Your second string is a B, and it sounds like this. The third string is a G, and it sounds like this. Your fourth string is also a D, and it sounds like this. Your fifth string is a G, and it's a high sounding string. It sounds like this. Now that your banjo is in tune, you're almost ready to begin. But first I wanted to show you this helpful tool. You may want to use it. I know a lot of my students love it, and I used to use it in the past as well. It's tablature. Tab is a form of sheet music for all kinds of instruments, especially banjo. And there's no shame in using it. I suggest using it at the beginning so you can woodshed with it whenever you may not be near a screen. And it's a big help whenever you're trying to learn specific songs you want to know. So let's first look at an example. Let's do a basic walkthrough of some tab here. Here is one measure of banjo tab. This one measure gets 4 beats. We're in 4/4 timing for the song that we're going to be learning. So we're going to just say that this measure is 4 beats. You see that this measure has 5 lines. Those 5 lines represent your 5 banjo strings, and that's how all banjo tab will look. You'll have 5 lines that represents your 5 strings. That top line is your first string, your D string. That bottom line is your 5th string, your G string, you know, the high string. Now, whenever you start seeing numbers on specific strings, if that number is sitting on that string, you're going to hit that string, and what that number is represents what fret your left hand should be fretting. So, as you see in this tab, there's a 0 on the first string. Well, we know we're going to have to hit the first string because there's a number sitting on it. But that number is 0. So that means we're just open. There is no 0 fret. So you're just hitting that string and it's going to be open. Let's look at some tab right now and try to play it. Here's 3 measures of banjo tab. Each one of these measures has 4 beats, like we said. So let's try playing it. Let's first try counting it in our head, how we want to play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 3 measures at 4 beats. Let's try playing it as it's written. We see that all of it seems to be on the first string, and it's all open. There's no fretting to be done with the left hand. You will eventually learn that as you go along. So let's try playing it. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another thing when reading tab is you'll notice these letters underneath the tablature, either T, I, or M. They stand for thumb, index, middle. And it's just a quick reference to let you know what fingers to use for that specific hit. That's just a very basic overview of how a tablature works. You'll begin to understand it more and more by and by as you go through this series and as you find the tab that you want for other songs you want to learn. All right, we've hit that point. It's time to get started on your first banjo lesson. Let's go. All right, to start playing banjo and learn your first song, you first need a song. You need to have a basic understanding of how that song goes, word-wise or tune-wise in your head, and be able to keep time. That's the big three at the beginning. Of course, for this series here, we're going to be playing the song I'll Fly Away. So you need to get a basic understanding of that tune. No, I don't mean that you have to sing the song in your head, but that helps whenever you're learning. You could just hum it and try to keep the beat with yourself, with your hands. So let's try that now, and we'll try it slow. I'm not going to sing it, I'm going to hum, so you get the basic understanding of it. So let's go with it. I'll fly away. Na, 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 na. Of course, whenever you're playing the banjo, you won't be able to just clap your hands to keep time. So you need to be able to practice with something whenever you're learning your first rhythm or your first licks. So that's whenever a metronome comes in. Let's try it out. Okay, we have our metronome right here. You can get a metronome at your local music store or online. Try to get one maybe that has the headphone port so you can put some headphones on so it's more of like a private lesson for you so you can hear everything. I have already set this at one of the lowest settings so we can hum along with the metronome instead of patting our leg this time, because of course you won't be able to pat your leg whenever you're playing the banjo, and this is our next step. So let's turn it on and just try to hum again along with it. Na, 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 I'll fly away. And once you get the hang of it there, then it's time to pick up the banjo, and we're going to try to keep the song in our head, the tune in our head, and start using our right hand to play what we call the pinch rhythm, which is your first banjo picking technique to get your right hand used to playing a rhythm on the banjo. So let's go ahead and try it with the metronome now. All right, y'all, here's your first lesson, the pinch rhythm. We're first going to learn how to play it, and then we'll use the metronome to play it in time. So first you're going to take your thumb and hit your middle string, which is the third string. After that, you're going to take your middle and your thumb and do a pinch. This is what we call a pinch in the banjo world, on your first and fifth strings. Of course, remember, the bottom one's your first, fifth one is your top. So far you have. Now, we need a little bit more to make a rhythm. So the next thing you're going to do is hit your fourth string, which is this bass string here. And then you're going to do another pinch. And that's it. Now you just have to put those 4 little pieces together and you get the pinch rhythm. So let's try to do it here. All right, let's try it with the metronome now. All right, y'all, once you think you've got a good hold of that rhythm and have a good understanding of how it goes, it's time to move forward and start playing with a metronome or with a beat and keeping time. So let's try that out here. We've got our metronome set at the lowest setting, and we're going to try playing the pinch rhythm. Here we go.
1, 2, ready, and.
Once you have that mastered with the metronome, now it's time to try humming in your head, I'll Fly Away, and playing the pinch rhythm at the same time. For your convenience, I'm going to hum it out loud. You try to hum it or sing it in your head and play at the same time. Here we go.
1, 2, ready, and.
You may have noticed while playing the pinch rhythm with your metronome and singing or humming to yourself that you were supposed to maybe go to a different chord on some of those lines. Well, you're right. There is some chord changes on I'll Fly Away, and we're going to cover that in lesson 2 of this series, the pinch rhythm and your new chords. So hang in there. All right, y'all, you've made it. You've completed your first banjo lesson. That wasn't so bad, was it? In this lesson, you learned how to hold your banjo, how to wear your picks, and a whole lot more. This will probably be the longest video in this series since you were learning the basics. If you want the absolute free banjo tablature that coincides with this lesson, please click the link in the description. It'll take you to my patreon.com/BigRedMusic page. Every video in this series will come with free tablature, so at the end you'll have a book, a free tab on how to play the banjo. If this looks like it's the series for you, please click like on this video. Please subscribe to my channel here and click the bell icon so you know when I upload a new video. I upload new videos every month. All right, y'all, hang in there with me. Let's learn this banjo together. Let's pick.